Doubles and coffee. Rowley'S dragon is dead. MADURO'S dragon is dead. SMALLPIN'S dragon is dead. Delci's dragon is dead. Wilmer Ruperti, Trafigura, PTE, Asdrubal Chavez, dragon is dead. Whatever deal that Rowley was negotiating secretly with SMALLPIN, that SMALLPIN had to go back and forth to Venezuela like a migrating kobo, spending your taxpayers' money without negotiators, without officials, without evaluation committee, without the experts from NGC and the Ministry of Energy, the permanent secretary, where SMALLPIN had to be face to face with people unknown, that he cannot even answer a question in Parliament to say, well, who you met with. Whatever deal Rowley and SMALLPIN were negotiating secretly with Maduro, Delci, and Asdrubal Chavez and others, that dead. Now don't get confused. The Dragon deal, Dragon field, cross-border gas, that's a normal business negotiation. And two new incoming governments who want the best for their populations. The President Gonzalez, duly elected, when he is put in there, because the pressure is coming from Marco Rubio, from Donald Trump. Donald Trump coming in to swear in a war that the world was calling to stop. It's stopping Sunday. Total ceasefire. Why? Because of Biden? Please. Donald Trump is coming. Marco Rubio is coming. Elon Musk is coming. Yesterday in the Senate approval hearing, Marco Rubio described Maduro as a narco-trafficking state. But yet SMALLPIN and Rowley, no matter what the facts are about Maduro and Delci and their regime, how illegitimate, how corrupt, how tyrannical, they hug them up for whatever deal is being negotiated in secret. Dragon and cross-border gas, good deal. When it's done properly for the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the people of Trinidad and Tobago by two brand new incoming governments who can negotiate in the open, who can have public servants trash out the details, who do not need secret meetings and flying over minister to minister and minister to president and minister to dictator and dictator to dictator. So whatever passionate secret deal that Rowley and SMALLPIN make with Maduro and Delci, that dead. But Dragon and any other cross-border gas negotiation will live on in propriety with good corporate governance and good negotiation, not negotiations with narco-terrorists. And think about all the negotiations that Rowley and SMALLPIN have been in charge of. Let me give you just a few examples. Houston, Texas. Rowley and SMALLPIN was not even the Minister of Energy, went to Houston and negotiated gas price that the officials at NGC, the intelligent public servants who qualified and hired there because of their knowledge and experience, they were having a battle with the upstreamers, fighting for every little quarter cent per MMBTU. Rowley and SMALLPIN went to Houston, settled on a price, and Trinidad and Tobago, the people, you, the consolidated fund, the treasury, lost 69% of your value in that negotiation. And the upstreamers, well, they benefited 69%. So I don't know what benefit Rowley and SMALLPIN got, but they were negotiating on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we lost 69% of our previous value and money, the value of the revenue that we would get. Whenever Rowley and SMALLPIN negotiate, the people of Trinidad and Tobago lose. And the upstreamers or the big companies that they're negotiating with, they win. So I'm not sure what else has happened or what other benefits accrue to who negotiated. But if you're negotiating on behalf of your population and the population continuously losing, anybody could speculate and surmise that somebody else benefited. When Rowley and Smallpin negotiated, asked Wade Mark about Hostile and Incat and had this tender process where they visit and met with CEOs, break down every form of corporate governance, tender rules, tender practice, procurement practice known to man, red flags galore. Hostile and Incat, they share vessels 1-1, plus they get 2 cutlass vessels. And Wade Mark said it was costing over 300 million extra. When Rowley and Smallpin negotiate up and down Atlantic Trade 1 for 2.5, 3 years, the population lost upwards of 400 million. We lost 233 million to maintain the train 1 that the other big shareholder said, we here want that, we have no gas for that. But you, the taxpayers, on the say-so of Rowley and Smallpin, flushed $233 million down the drain for a year of maintenance, but it was 2.5 years. So extrapolate the cost. When Rowley was Minister of Housing, a contract was signed, and he said he knew about it. But he was the de facto Minister of Housing at that time. And that was when the contract was consummated. The cabinet note would have gone to cabinet, taken by the Minister of Housing, Rowley. That contract had to be rescinded because the Chinese company got such a sweetheart deal never before seen. Every time Rowley negotiate and Smallpin negotiate, somebody else does benefit. So all you figure it out. But now all of that done. When you saw the Bridgemans, Rowley says crooked money. Bridgemans, they couldn't even understand. They couldn't find the offices. They couldn't find how they even qualify to supply a vessel to Trinidad or 2 vessels to Trinidad and Tobago. You know who approved the crooked money on the phone while he was in Tobago with Smallpin in the ears? Christopher Rowley. You don't find it strange that every time Rowley and Smallpin negotiate, the other side does benefit and the people of Trinidad and Tobago does lose. So understand, when I tell you Dragon, there is Rowley Dragon, Maduro Dragon, Delcy Dragon, Smallpin Dragon. Whatever secret deal them was negotiating, that dead. And 2 new governments with proper corporate governance and transparency and accountability will negotiate any deal, whether Dragon, Fragon, or Dagon. Do you understand? So Rowley and Smallpin go all your way because Trump is coming, Rubio is coming, Elon Musk is coming. You'll ever ask yourself, but how come anytime Rowley and them negotiating, it's always some company with some checkered past or allegations of corruptions or convictions of corruptions, like Trafigura PTE, like PDVSA, like Wilmer Ruperti, like Shell into Trafigura PTE into US, ES, Euro shipping during sanctions when a shipment of fuel came into Paria, down in Point Lisas, Point Apia, and then end up in Palo Alto, Venezuela. The Aldan switched off its transponder and was caught by US Coast Guard. Why? Why Jindal with allegations of corruption? Why corruption? Why Content, a company with 2 electricians with no track record? Why Bridgemans? Why they only, what happened to all the great companies in the world from Japan and Korea and USA and Canada and Brazil with great track record? How come Rowley and Smallpin never find none of them solid companies without allegations of corruption for we in Trinidad and Tobago? How come anytime Rowley and Smallpin had to negotiate, it was some questionable characters? All you ever ask, all you said that? What about Nikwan? And I see Massey, like all you lost money in Nikwan too. I see Miss Potter asked some questions at the annual general meeting. Massey board, I waiting to hear that too. What about all of these? What about the fake oil arbitration that Rowley stay in control of as the Prime Minister in control of Petrotrin board, Ministry of Energy, and put his lawyer in charge of the discussion and all of that? All you don't find these things strange and all you just take on Rowley. Well, Rowley's Dragon. Smallpin's Dragon. Maduro, the stealer of elections, the narco trafficker, the corrupt money launderer, the drug trader, the man with a 25 million US bounty on his head. His dragon deal with Smallpin and Rowley going back and forth like migrating Kobo, that dead. The new president, the president-elect of legitimacy with votes from Venezuelans, Gonzalez, and the new UNC government of Kamala Prasad, Bissessa, Kevin Ramnarine, and other energy officials, David Lee, and so on, with permanent secretaries, with officials at NGC, chemical engineers, and those who know what they're doing, will negotiate a deal that will benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago in the open with transparency. No secret back and forth that Smallpin can't even answer. And when he tried to answer and the speaker had to force him to answer, he caught away answer and he answer who he negotiate with, who he meeting with in back room in Venezuela. Their dragon dead. The people's dragon will live on to benefit the people of Venezuela and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not the despots, not the dictators, not those who select leaders and choose themselves. Bless.